Hello, welcome to my home. My name is Jackie. Mr. Watson's running around. This is a little bit of a talking video. Actually, this is only a talking video. There is no show and tell. I was talking to a group of my friends and they were talking about the boutique experience. And I think I needed to do a whole video on why I don't like the boutique experience. I believe good customer service is good customer service. And I feel like when I listen to other YouTube personalities talk about boutiques, they tend to go on and on about packaging, wrapping, attention to detail, personal service. Basically, they felt catered to and special, right? That should not be a luxury boutique experience. That should be every experience when you are shopping in a shopping establishment. I am 43, so when I was in my 20s and teens, I worked for small business, and my small business was actually a boutique. These were boutique businesses in a larger complex that was called Artisans Alley. And this place is still in business. They still have a bunch of small businesses. So I learned... So when you have a boutique business, and this is a individually owned business. So this is not, I'm going to take my glasses off so you don't have to look at the glare since I don't have to see anything. Is you have to, it's specialized. And what I mean by specialized was the one my sister worked in was a bath body high-end teddy bears, like as in mohair bears, and mohair is a goat fur, and just these beautifully handmade German bears, Steiff bears, Hermann bears, some other Annette Funicelli bears. There are not too many of those. Most people, they carried all the Boyd's bears when Boyd's was really big. They're articulated bears. A lot of them were handmade. There's lots of other brands. I just can't remember them off the top of my head because that's not the store I worked in. It was the store my sister worked in. So in early 90s, mid 90s, so we were teenagers, mid 90s to 2000s, you're asking someone to spend $300 or $400 on a teddy bear. That's a very special clientele. That is a very specific clientele. That is a person who wants to know you understand the significance of this purchase and that it is a luxury. It's an absolute luxury. Who buys $300 teddy bears? I'm not talking mink fur. This is just goat fur, handmade German teddy bears, right? Numbered and everything. So what we learned working for this owner, and she was awesome, is everybody is important. Every single person who walks in that door is a client. Everybody needs to be given the same exact respect and the exact same catering of service. There is no profiling. And we learned really quick that the most expensive or the most unlikely people purchased randomly would just spend $800 on something, whereas actually young people, young girls. This is a fancy place that their mothers brought them there for luncheon, and the young girls were like, well, let's go shop while you and aunt whomever have lunch, and they would spend $800 because they're visiting from Mexico. And where I was living at the time this place was in San Antonio, Texas, and around holidays, there's specific holidays where a lot of Mexican nationals come up and they would go shopping. So you didn't discount anybody walking into your store, age or anything. And then I worked in a family-owned jewelry store, and they specialize for a specific region in Mexico. And I don't speak Spanish, by the way. I'm Asian, but I speak Thai. I've tried to learn Spanish, failed miserably. But anyway, what I learned about jewelry sales too is also specialized. You have, and you're asking someone to spend thousands of dollars on something. And everybody wants to be treated the same way and listened to. If you listen to the person you're helping, you will know how to help them. My wages did not depend on what they purchased. I was a minimum wage earner. So it's a small business. I knew down to the dollar how much I had to sell per day to make my job worth it to the owner. Like, I opened the store, I opened the till, I had the keys, the safe, open, closing all day. It was all we did. And that served me really well. And it served me really well when I went to other retail jobs. Like, I worked at Coldwater Creek, no longer in business, or at least I think they're in business, but only at the .com. I worked at Macy's. I think those are the only two actual department store, not private. I worked for tons of small owners because I worked for a lot of people. So growing up in Asia, I have the epitome of privilege. I am half white. It is obvious I am half white. So in Asia, it is very, very, very apparent I am half white. And so I was treated differently. You go into a store, you're treated differently. And a lot of times I was behind the scenes because we were friends with the people who owned the place. So I would see how they treated others, and I saw them profiling, and I saw that I was treated differently and special and privileged. And I knew that this was because of how I looked, or who my parents were. It had nothing to do with me. I mean, I was just a child. I was a kid. So when I became an adult, and I never had fear of going into high-end places because I had been going into those for years. The people we knew that own these stores, these are jewelry stores in Thailand. I grew up seeing 24 karat gold and sapphires and rubies and diamonds like it was normal. And I didn't understand when I came to America what karat gold was. I'm like, what the heck is that? That's not gold. Well, it's not. It's a blend. It's a gold blend with alloys. Actual gold is what we would see in Asia. So, anyhow, long story short, the first time I went and bought an item in a boutique, I think I was 14. I think I showed you that Celine bag behind me on the wall. Okay, this opposite, that. Right there, that one. I was 14, 13, 14 years old. And I was in the boutique in Florence as a tourist and as a kid with my family. And I bought that bag. No fear. Great experience. Didn't speak Italian. They didn't speak English. We made money, worked it either way. We figured it out, right? And then my next boutique experience of high-end boutique, I was like 23, maybe 22, 23. I went into the Saks Fifth Avenue Louis Vuitton boutique within the Saks Fifth Avenue. So I just walked right in, looked at the products, and asked the lady, "Can I see this? Can I see that?" And they said, "Sure." And I said, "Okay, I'd like to buy this." And I walked out. That was it. And at the time, this is in the 2000s, the experience was the same as any other shopping experience. It really wasn't any different than going to Dillard's or to Macy's. People still had a level of customer service that was pretty ubiquitous at the time. Now I think customer service is so rare that any customer service that is of marginal quality is extraordinary. So that when you get somebody who can help you and genuinely like you, and try to help you find something you're looking for, it is unique. So when my friends say they want that first boutique experience, it really depends on the person who you're talking to, the sales associate. Are they having a good day? You don't know. You have no idea. Their grandparent could have just died. They could have lost, could have had a car accident the other week, that you'd have no clue what's happening in these people's lives. So you go in there expecting 110% service, and sometimes you're not going to get that. Sometimes you're going to get wait staff, or not wait staff, but just staff that's not really on the ball. Like, I watched Caleb Snell, and he said he had gone to the Hermes store in Chicago, and they pretty much laughed at him when he asked to look at a wallet, which is never, ever appropriate, by the way, as a sales associate of any type and any kind. And if his manager had been looking at him, he should have gotten a reprimand, and Caleb should have gotten an apology. There is no laughing at clients. That's ridiculous. And but that ruins your brand reputation. That ruins the feeling for the brand. If you go into a store and you have a bad association with that experience, it's not likely that you're going to buy another item. It's his luxury goods are all of them superfluous. All of them are not needed. All of them are extra. None of us needs a luxury branded bag. It is an option and a choice. So every person is a VIP. And I've been that person that was taken to the back room and shown the collection or whatever, or we have this exclusive, or had the personal shopper that says, "Hey, we have this in, do you want this?" Because we were the VIP shoppers. We would go and we would my father was not a diplomat, but he was in the military well, I guess that is a diplomat. He was a diplomatic mission. But he wasn't a diplomat. He was in the military working as foreign military sales. It's involved. Anyway, we were there. He was working in the American Embassy at the time, so he had lots of access to people. And by us saying, hey, when people would come visit, he'd say, hey, do you want to visit this store? They sell jewelry made in karat gold, not just 24 karat gold, and you can get some great items. It's right down the street from the embassy. Let me take you. And that's how that happened, because it was great. It was a fantastic relationship. We would take people there all the time because they did have merchandise that was a safe place to shop. This was in the 80s, and it was things that foreign tourists understood as looking normal. You didn't have to go into Chinatown at the time, because before, to buy gold or gems, you'd have to go to Chinatown, literally Chinatown, or you have to know where to go. It just isn't walk into a store. If you're a tourist, that's hard to do. So the boutique experience, while everybody kind of touts it as this amazing thing and why they love luxury, honestly, it's just good customer service. And if you're going to buy luxury for the customer service, I think maybe that's the wrong reason. My husband's getting ice for me. If you hear ice, and I know you do, because this microphone picks up everything, including the dogs, while walking and their little nails clicking. We do get them trimmed. It just doesn't sound that way. So I just want to give a quick little conversation about boutique experiences. So if you really want a bag and you really want to go into a store, for that experience of the packaging and just going into this really pretty environment to enjoy it, do it. But don't do it thinking it's this kind of earth-shattering experience. It's not. It's actually, I prefer not a boutique experience. I prefer to buy anonymously. I prefer to buy off of .com. I prefer not to feel, because as the person who has worked on commission, well, I've personally never worked on commission. I have always, well, that's not true. I worked on commission, but I didn't need the commission. Long story short, my base rate was enough to cover, and I didn't work on commission. Because I was a seasonal hire at the Macy's, I had a base rate. The people working with me had a commission, and they had to have a quota of how many dollars per, how many sales per day, what the threshold of the sales were, how many people applied for their credit card within a 1 month period. There was lots of things you had to do as a sales associate to keep your job. And showing up and working that wasn't all, right? Part of your job working is to promote the business, promote the credit card, and to sell. And so a lot of times when I was working at the Macy's counter, I gave my sales to my coworkers because they needed those numbers. I didn't need the numbers. It didn't make a difference to me. And I also learned I hated working as a cosmetic girl. But that's a different story for a different day. Yes, my friend. My big dog is trying to get more pets. Anyhow, the boutique experience shouldn't be why you buy something. And if you want something, get it because you like it. Get it from a platform you prefer. Don't go into buying a boutique bag thinking this is going to be this wonderful, memorable experience. Honestly, it's the same as going to Dillard's or Macy's. It is exactly the same experience. It's nothing different other than the fact that the environment's a little nicer. I've been to lots of jewelry stores. They kind of all do the same thing. And as a jewelry person, you have to only put one thing out on the counter at a time because there's insurance and liability issues. So it's not really to be mean or not show you 3 or 4 things. It's all about insurance. And so they're not doing that to... So normally if you go and they show you an item, they'll put another item in the back. Or if they take you into a room, it's so that it's security. It's all security. You're being filmed, guys. You're being filmed. So anyhow, don't put too much stock in the boutique experience. You're putting a lot of emphasis on somebody's work day, and their pay rate is not that high. We all know sales associates do not make a lot of money. They don't make enough money to buy the products they're selling. We know that much. So just treat them as people. And if you don't like that sales associate, ask for another one. They might be having a bad day, and hi. Or not everybody gets along with everybody else, although they should. The biggest thing I learned in customer service is listen. Always listen. People want to be heard, they want to be acknowledged, and they want you to just listen to them. Don't give solutions until they're done talking. If you're just listening to give a solution, then you're not listening well. And that's the same with the boutique experience. A sales associate should be able to talk to you and ascertain what it is you really want and help you find that. That is their job. They're there to help you find something you want, not just to sell you anything they have. It's not to pressure you into selling something you didn't want to buy. Now, we might tell you, oh, by the way, we have an incentive on this if you'd like to look at the perfume. That's something they do because maybe that month that's on promotion and they get they have to make quota sales. You know, you never know. But they shouldn't be saying, oh, you must buy this. That's just not the way it's supposed to work. So anyhow, this is my rant on the boutique experience and why I prefer to shop online, not in person. When I make my mind up to buy something, I want to buy something, and I don't want to be told it's not in stock, or we don't have it, or would you like this instead? And I normally buy more when I'm in the store because I see more, which is why I prefer to buy through a .com. I don't get as much impulse. I have impulse issues. So anyhow, thank you for watching my video. Have a great day, and I'll see you again. Bye!